So, hi guys, welcome back to Overtime Heroics MMA. I'm Martin Hamilton. I'm joined today by Scotty Boom Boom Malone. How you doing, Scott?
Very well, mate, yourself?
Aye, not too bad. Can't complain here. The weather's nice, so
Yeah.
makes a big difference. So, Scott, you're like fresh off your Cage Warriors return against Cedar Atlas. I hope I've not butchered that guy's name. I've been
It's
practicing.
Altas. Altas.
Artas, right? That's a cool name, to be fair. So how are you feeling? How did you feel your performance went?
Yeah, good. I think I'm my own worst critic with my own fights. I always feel like I could have done better. But I was happy with my performance. I watched it back. And yeah, there's things I could have done better, but there's things I could have done better in every fight. And I think if you go like that with every fight, you're just going to start picking loads of flaws. You know what I mean? So really grateful to get the stoppage. I know I've just came off 2 wins that were sort of unanimous decisions and whatever else, but yeah, I was really looking forward to making a statement in the Cage Warriors one. Obviously, I took it on 3 weeks' notice, and yeah, the guy was like hyped up to be a very good guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was really happy to get that stoppage over Serda.
Yeah, because he did. He came in with a lot of hype behind him as well. He was tipped to be one of the Europe's next big stars, and you looked very good against him. Like the way you manhandled him, especially in the grappling, was quite phenomenal. And he comes in with like like kind of like standing pedigree. He's a really good kickboxer. He uses his kicks well, and I felt even on the feet, you looked phenomenal. You were like trading with him really well, and especially at the start of the first round, you were getting the better of him. And the feet did you anticipate that getting in, or did that come as a surprise?
If every fight, I always say I've got in training, like I literally have the most confidence in my stand up. Like I'll never really shoot a lot in sparring because I want to work my stand up all the time. I will shoot obviously, but like I tend to try and keep it standing when I'm sparring all the time, just because I really want to get better at my stand up. But I'm really confident in my stand up just now. Like I feel it's come on loads. You know what I mean? I just feel really comfortable, and I feel comfortable against good strikers. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes in the fight, I kind of panic, even though I'm doing good. I think it's drilled into me to shoot. But yeah, I was comfortable on the feet, and especially being that longer. You know what I mean? I was sure that was the first person that I've ever fought that's actually smaller than me. So yeah, it was good for that, having a wee bit of reach and stuff. But yeah, I had a plan. I don't know if you've seen my Instagram post. I thought I was going to fly and knee him for the knockout, and I actually dreamt it like a couple of days before. So that was like, I was like, right, I'm doing it. I attempted it in the second round, but I think I hit his knee as he lifted his knee up. So
Aye, because that's when you launched at the flying knee. That's what initiated the grappling sequence that ended up with you finishing the fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were landing that as well. See, when I was watching it in real time, I was like, oh no, I was like, oh, he's got to flying knee him in the face. But then he got him down and done him with the elbows. How did that feel? Like getting like your last 2 fights have been unanimous decisions. How did that feel? Kind of finally getting that like the finish, because it's your first finish since 2018, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think Josh Reed was the last time I finished anyone.
Yeah, it was via armbar.
Yeah. So it was definitely good. I mean, big shout out to my corner, James. He was the one pushing for the finish. You know what I mean? He was shouting, "Keep pouring on him. He's breaking." So yeah, I went for it. You know what I mean? It was kind of in my head, not wanting to burn myself out, because obviously I took the fight 3 weeks' notice. I wasn't wanting to be absolutely fucked by the time I hit the third round and end up giving the fight away. You know what I mean? So I was kind of hitting him, and then I heard James say, "Go for it." It's kind of gave up. So yeah, I went for it, and happy that I did.
Yeah, because you mentioned that you took the fight on 3 weeks' notice. Did the previous two fights that you had, like them going the distance, did that give you the confidence that you were coming into this fight in kind of good shape?
Kind of, but I mean, literally, when I got called to fight, I'd not been training. I hadn't even been in the gym really for like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. I was kind of just resting up and just because I didn't really think I was getting a fight. You know what I mean? I put all these my name for every show, and I'm like I want to fight. I'm desperate to fight, and then I kind of gave up and went, oh fuck it, I'm not fighting. Might as well enjoy myself. Started eating as much shit as possible and just sort of took a break, and then literally like fucking got offered the fight. But yeah, it was so that was always in the back of my head for to try and get that stoppage as well. But I know my fitness is there all the time, but I think it's a confidence thing with me sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, that's understandable as well. That some because MMA is such a single-minded sport that you rely so heavily on yourself that
Yeah,
us as humans, it's kind of natural that we go up and down. Sort
yeah,
of thing. So that's where the importance of having the likes of James in your corner. And I was going to touch on this a bit later, but it seems that we've rolled into it quite sequentially. So
yo,
you're now 3-0 under higher level. You've got the win against Atlas, Kieran O'Brien at Evolution of Combat, and Kiru at Cage Steel. What do you think that you're doing different now at higher level that's starting to get the best out of you? Because we've seen you've went 3-0 under them, your team went 4-0 at the trilogy with the likes of Stevie McIntosh, Luke Shanks, and Kier Harvey all getting the victories. What's happening at that gym? It's just making you guys tick.
um, James is a great coach. Mate. He's got some great guys there as well. You know what I mean. It's the level of guys, especially at the lighter weights, for me that was the main reason why I kind of went there in the first place. Is because they've got a lot of lighter guys. The main reason was Luke Shanks is there. Luke actually came through to Dundee to train with me when he first moved up to Scotland, and he was obviously training at a higher level at the time. So I kind of returned the favour and went through. James actually asked me to go through for some sparring for Shanks for his fight with, was it Fadim? But when he won the title.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going through and sparring with him, and I kind of, it was I just kind of liked the way they did things, and it was just a lot lighter guys. Like when I was other places, Scottish Hit Squad and that, like it was great training, great coaching as well, but everybody was there was sort of lightweight or above. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the main reason for going to higher level, was just the sort of size of guys. You know what I mean? It was nothing else at all, but it was just literally the size of guys and the quantity of the guys and the quality of the guys. You know what I mean? So it's always great to get some good training with guys at your size.
Because that's a great point that you made there as well, especially about the standard training partners that you have there, because there's a lot of guys at higher level that are just kind of turning pro that we might know that a lot of people might not have heard about yet, but give it 2 or 3 years and these guys are really going to push through. They've just got a absolute plethora of talent at the moment, and you've got guys from all over the country now going there to train. Like, so you've got guys like yourself, Luke Shanks, Reese McEwen's doing a lot of work there as well. So it makes sense that because you're fighting these really high, or sparring these really high level guys, it's allowing you to up your game as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, like training with Reese as well. Obviously, he's been through a lot, so yeah, getting some good training with Reese, and I was getting training with Luke and Keir Harvey as well, and it was just the sort of quality of the guys, and just at my size, it's quite rare to come across as the sort of flyweights and bantamweights. You know what I mean? That was one of the main reasons why I went over to Team Alpha Male like years ago as well.
Yeah.
Just because obviously they've got, at the time they had Cody Garbrandt, who was the UFC champion. You know what I mean? So plus there's like hundreds of other guys that are that weight. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that you've probably not even heard of just now, but they're coming through as well, and they're just as good. You know what I mean? You'll probably hear about them soon.
Because this has just got me thinking. Like, see, like we discussed, kind of a bit like confidence earlier. See, because you are training with the likes of Luke Shanks, who is a former Cage Warriors world champion. See, because you're hanging with them and sparring, and you're making a great account of yourself. Does that give you more confidence getting into the fights? Because you know the level of sparring partners that you've sparred with, and most of the guys that you'll fight won't be at that level. Does that give you great confidence because you know how you can do against these great guys?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of built my confidence a lot. Obviously, coming off 3 losses, my confidence was low as fuck. You know what I mean? It was, although I didn't like to admit it. You know what I mean? I was fucking shitting myself like for the Kieran O'Brien fight. I was proper shitting myself. I'm like, if I lose another one, I'm fucking done. You know what I mean? I was so close to saying I'm done. But yeah, going into that fight and obviously, like you said, sparring with these other guys and holding my own with them, it does give you a big confidence boost. And like I said earlier at the start, I'm my own worst critic, so I think I'm constantly putting myself down. But I think I've got a great mindset. But at the same time, I need to be more confident in myself.
Absolutely, and this is something I was very hesitant to ask because I feel that this question comes along across very clickbaity, as if I'm trying to provoke you to say something here, which I'm not. But is that, see, we like you and Luke fighting at the same weight now in Cage Warriors? Is there a bit of, I don't want to say tension because I don't think tension's the right word. Is there a bit of, is that voice at the back of your head that thinks I might need to fight him for the title soon because he's his next
Not really.
title is?
Not really. I've never. I mean, I've thought about it. A couple of people have actually given me the question, like, basically exactly what you just said there, and I think, to be honest, I'd avoid the fight at the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think training partners shouldn't really fight together.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I used to do it at judo. One of my best mates was my main training partner at judo, and we would compete against each other every week. You know what I mean? Because we were at the same weight. But like I say, I'd rather obviously fight other guys first, and I believe that Luke's probably going to win that title.
Yeah.
He's got a tough fight. Sam Casey's no joke. You know what I mean? So if he loses, I'd like to be next in line for the title. I think I'm meant to be maybe fighting in October. Nothing's been said. There's not been any names or whatever else, but I've kind of been says that I'm possibly going to be fighting in October. So we'll see. Like I say, I'm going to be taking these fights one step at a time.
Yeah.
One fight at a time, and I don't know, especially James. You know what I mean? I don't know how James would feel about that anyway. But for me, I would rather keep apart unless it was like a fight in the UFC. You know what I mean? That to me would be, it would be anybody I would fight. You know what I mean? It'd be my brother I was fighting there to get in the UFC. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I doubt it would happen, but I don't know. Maybe a possibility. It's one of these things, is it?
I don't feel pressured to certain that might, I don't know, ruffle any feathers. It was just one of those questions that I felt kind of I had to ask, but it was completely down to you how you answered it. I don't want to create any trouble or anything like that. But you kind of
I think
touched.
it's understandable. It's understandable for people to ask the question. We're both training together. We're both in the same gym. We're both sitting at the same weight. You know what I mean? We're both climbing up the ladder for the top of Cage Warriors. So it's, you know what I mean? It's going to be a question that's going to be asked quite a lot, I think. So don't feel bad about it.
Because you touched on this a wee bit earlier, and this, like a couple of minutes ago, we potentially fighting in October. Because this was something I wanted to ask. Because you get announced, it was like quite quick fire after your win at Cage Warriors. You announced that you'd be fighting Andy Young at Cage Conflict and over in Belfast.
Yeah.
Is that now no longer the case? Is that?
Well, Andy's got COVID, so the fight got cancelled. So basically, I was away at Blackpool last week just for a wee holiday for 5 days with my kids, and the wife, and basically got a text on the Monday saying that Andy's pulled out. Keep training just in case we get a replacement. So yeah, I was down there. Obviously, I was going for runs. Went through to Hammond, trained with a couple of the guys from there. And yeah, I kept myself in shape while I was away on holiday. Never had a pint. Never done nothing. Literally to get back to the news, when I got back to Dundee, literally at the second I got out of my car, I got a text from James just saying they can't get a replacement, so the fight's off. Props to the promoters though. They says, look, the flight and stuff's booked. If you want to come over as a guest, feel free to come over. The hotel's there for you if you wanted. But I mean, it's one of these things where I don't know. I was going to go across, but it's kind of like I'd probably be doing other things at the same time. But yeah, that obviously got cancelled. But there's been a few things that have been popping up, but they kind of fell through, and then other things popped up, fell through again. So I'm going to keep myself ready, train as I would. You know what I mean? Just keep myself fit. As long as I keep myself fit, I've got every bit of confidence in my skill. You know what I mean? So I think as long as I'm fit, then I'll be able to take fights on, for example, on 3 weeks' notice.
Yeah.
I think it was better for me mentally as well, because I'm not sitting mentally thinking about this fight for 8 weeks, 9 weeks. So yeah, it was quite good to just, I was like, right, okay, I've got 2 weeks to train and get myself in the best shape I can in 2 weeks, and then I've got another week of cutting weight. So yeah, that was, again, I was sitting probably heavier than I have for a long time as well, and I was obviously fighting at a lower weight, so it was good to see that I can get to that weight, and I made it like comfortably. You know what I mean? I probably could have made 125 on that weekend, and that was 3 weeks' notice. So definitely make 125, obviously, with a full fight camp. You know what I mean?
See, in terms of them trying to find you a last minute replacement, do you feel now that, especially in the regional scene, that you might end up a kind of victim of your own success? Because we've seen your last 3 fights against real high level opponents, and you've looked extremely comfortable in every one of them. Especially your running Cage Warriors, do you think a lot of guys in the regional scene just won't take that fight now because they see that you're in your prime and you're hitting your optimum?
Maybe, or they could see it. If it was me, like I would put the shoe on the other foot, and basically for me that would be my stepping stone. You know what I mean? To see somebody that's doing well. That's the kind of guys I want to fight. I'm not want to be fighting all these fucking prospects all the time. For me personally, I want a big fight for my next one. I want somebody that's had a lot of experience. That was a good thing about Andy. Although his record wasn't great, he's had a lot of experience, and he's still a good name. You know what I mean? He's still a good fighter, and I was looking forward to that one. So yeah, I'm hoping my next fight's somebody that's got like a good bit of experience, or that's ranked quite high. You know what I mean? Somebody that's in the top 5 in the UK, or somebody that's somebody that's going to put my name out there in Europe. And try and get on one of these big shows. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm knocking on the door. I maybe just need another one or two wins, and I could be knocking on some big doors.
Because the Cage Warriors give any kind of indication on why they weren't signing you to a full-time contract, or was that on your part?
It's kind of on both of it, to be honest. I've never actually spoke to them about it, to be honest. I never asked for one. They did say that we're going to get me on the next show, so it's kind of one of these things where I'm just waiting for, once this California show is out the way, then I'm sure I'll get a fight lined up. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed for you, and fingers crossed that you guys can now bring Cage Warriors to Glasgow so we can actually go to the event rather than it always being down south.
Yeah, that'd be great, to be honest. I've been saying this to Ian Dean for years, but he just doesn't seem to entertain the question whatsoever. Right? I'm like, why are you not coming? I think ACB put him off because they had the hydro and it was like empty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they see that, and I think they're, I don't know, but I would like to see a Cage Warriors Glasgow, but maybe not even Glasgow, maybe Dundee. That would be good.
Anywhere in Scotland, anywhere we can travel to, we'll take it. We'll take it as a W, especially when you're seeing the success that you guys are having in Cage Warriors. Like for any team to kind of go 4-0 over what essentially which is one event, that's kind of really unheard of stuff. So you are stamping at the door to say, look, Scottish MMA is here and it's on the rise. So get up to Scotland.
Yeah.
Because this fight as well, it was your first fight in Cage Warriors since Adam Wilson. Did that provide any external motivation for you getting into the fight? Because it was a bit of a redemption story.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's another reason why I was wanting to make a statement. You know what I mean? I was wanting to come back with a bang. I kind of went out on 3 losses, and it was, you know, it's never a good thing to do, is go out on 3 losses. You know what I mean? So coming back and winning in the fashion that I won was me making a statement to all these 125 guys that I'm coming back at this weight and look out, pretty much.
Because that's the thing as well. You mentioned it there that your last fight was a catch weight, just because of the short notice that you took the fight. But it was the same in your fight at Evolution of Combat as well, wasn't it? Like because it was a last minute replacement you had there for Elliot Hall.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So how are you feeling at this lighter weight? Because you look incredible.
Yeah, I feel great. It's good to be, you know, and I think my diet's obviously changed. I've been vegan for almost 2 years now. So I did lose a lot of weight naturally, you know what I mean? And I sit naturally like almost a stone lighter than I used to sit, you know what I mean? So that thing was always kind of like, I felt I was too light for bantamweight. It was the same for the Kieran O'Brien fight. I was sitting at like 67 kilos, which for me as a bantamweight is not extremely heavy. You know what I mean? That's what I'd usually come in at fight week, sometimes even heavier. So for me coming in at 6 to 61 from 67, that sounds good. Like fucking hell, that's 6 kilos, but you know you can lose that in a week for most guys, for fighters anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of made the decision. I was wanting to get the fight with Elliot Hoy, the guy that pulled out in the first place. I actually asked for that at 59, just to see how I was at that weight, and see how it was to get down to that weight. And you know, I'd never been that weight since fucking 2016. So just being able to get down to that weight and feel fine and go the 3 rounds, it was again just another bit of confidence booster where I can lose that weight and still have the cardio to go 3 rounds.
Yeah, because it's been interesting as well, because like you were saying there, that like your last fight, that's the only time you've come in and kind of been longer than your opponent. So does it feel more kind of natural to you to be a 125 pounder now? Because you were saying that you cut 6 kilos, but a lot of the time guys are cutting 10 up to kind of 15 kilos to hit like the likes of bantamweight.
Yeah, that's 100%, mate. Like I say, I sit around about 67 kilos just now. Fighting at 130 I was last time, but obviously I'm looking to go down to 125. So 10 kilos is kind of what I'm going to lose, but that's me kind of eating shit, you know what I mean? As soon as I start eating well, I drop down to usually about 65, and then the weight starts just coming down from there slowly. But I knew ages ago, obviously, when I was over at Team Alpha Male, I was asking a few guys what weight they were sitting at and stuff. And one of the guys was sitting at like 70 kilos, you know what I mean, at the time. And that was at the same time when I was sitting 70 kilos for fighting at bantamweight. So yeah, he was sitting 70 kilos, and that kind of, I think that's what kind of started that ages ago. And I was like, right, okay, well, if he can make it, then I can maybe make it, you know what I mean? But I eventually just started getting heavier and heavier. And I think it's just with working. I was at scaffolding every day, so I was getting, obviously, lifting loads of sort of fucking steel poles up and down all the time. As you do when you're on building sites, you go away and roll shops and eat loads of crap,
Aye.
cakes and that every day. So I was piling on the weight. but luckily quit scaffolding and went vegan, and now the weights just fell off. It's just I feel I could still eat shit as a vegan,
Yeah.
but I'm now sitting just lighter. You know what I mean?
Because I was going to, this is kind of like going to be the last question. Like how is becoming a coach and owning your own gym? Like you're now the head coach of Amiga MMA in Dundee. Like how has that helped improve you as a fighter?
Yeah, it's in Perth, but
Oh, is it?
it's in Perth. I'm from Dundee myself, obviously, but there's a gym that I used to train in, Dundee Mixed Martial Arts, and they've helped me out a lot. I still go and train there every Saturday and whatever else. But yeah, my gym's in Perth, and it was for that reason I wasn't wanting to open a gym in Dundee. You know what I mean? Dundee's quite a small place, so I wasn't want to step on anybody's toes. Plus, all the coaches from that gym, they do it for a charity. Like none of the coaches take money at all.
Yeah.
They all coach for free and have done for years. So I wouldn't like to open a gym and then, you know what I mean?
That
So
makes a lot of
yeah,
sense.
but it feels, although I've not done much coaching because of fucking COVID, the gym's been shut half the time. You know what I mean? The whole time we've been open, we've only been open 50% of the whole time that we've had the gym. But yeah, you need to obviously break things down a lot more. I've always been a coach, like from the age of 18, I was coaching judo. I grew up basically coaching judo, and it was always better for me to be able to break things down and show people how to do things. And basically, you need to run it back to yourself. You know what I mean? You need to take things step by step, because you can get the guy that's a total beginner, or you can get a guy that's ready to fight. You know what I mean? I've got guys that are actually fighting tomorrow, in Fight Star down in Rochdale in Manchester.
Is that the big inter club?
The big inter club,
Yeah.
yeah. There's obviously no inter clubs up here just now, so they were ready a month ago, and then it got put on lockdown again. So yeah, the guys are more than ready. I'm just looking forward to seeing the guys compete. I know loads of the guys that are actually fighting, they've been dying to fight for ages. You know what I mean? So this is the time to sort of show themselves and just get experience. You know what I mean? Even if they lose, it's the whole experience of, you know, going in there and getting a feel for what it's like to be hit pretty hard. You know, just a wee bit of fucking, obviously harder than a spar. You've got people watching you, so it's a wee bit more nerve wracking. It's just you and this other guy locked in the cage as well. So it's an experience, and I think that's the biggest thing that I've tried to drill in everybody's heads, at my gym as well, is go out there and get as much experience as possible. And you know, jiu-jitsu competitions, boxing fights, K1 fights, MMA fights. These are all things that are going to make a better fighter in the long run, I think.
For anyone that's listening at home that might not be too clued up with what inter clubs are, can you kind of give a brief definition of what the difference is between an inter club fight and kind of like a standard fight?
So your inter clubs are basically like, it's a daytime show. There's no fans. Well, there is kind of fans, but there's no like drunk screaming people throwing drinks about and that. But you go in there, it's only 2.5 minute rounds, 2.5 minutes. And there's certain things that you're not allowed. So you've got to wear shin guards. You've got your sparring gloves, which is what you fight in an amateur anyway. But there's no headshots on the ground. There's no spinning back kicks. There's obviously no elbows. But there's a load of things that you're not allowed to. It still makes it a good. It's basically a really heavy spar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. It's a heavy spar with a referee there. You know what I mean? So again, it's just for experience. It's for these guys. I'm pretty sure at least a few of them are ready to probably have an amateur fight anyway. But I'd like to just put them in there and see how they react under the pressure.
It's a great way for networking as well.
Yeah.
I think because you're going down there and you're meeting other amateurs for different gyms, and you're then able to kind of talk to them, create relations. And then if you're maybe down in Hull and you meet guys from Hull, like you can then go down and train at Hull, or essentially like Scottish Hit Squad and like Team Fish Tank do, or like a Grip House, D Unit, and Higher Level. They all like to mix training partners, and just create wee connections. And I think that's great, especially for the guys coming up as well.
Yeah.
It'd be great if
Definitely.
Scotland could put more on. Let's see once things start to open up.
Yeah.
In Scotland, it'd be great to see that in Scotland.
I was actually looking at doing something similar myself. Me and my mate Sloaney, who's my coach, is Connorman, you know what I mean, as well. So we were looking on putting a show on pretty much like that, just an interclub, just for guys that were not fighting. But obviously Fight Star came along. So it's kind of that was the main reason I was wanting to do it, was for the guys from my gym and obviously to get the experience. But we'll see how they get on, and we could maybe Sloaney, we might put on one at the end of the year. So depending, we'll see.
But thanks very much for your time, Scott. I know it's been a hectic day for you. Do you have any social medias, anything like that you want to shout out?
Scotty_boom boom. It's my Instagram. Scotty_boom boom. It's my TikTok. If you want to watch some TikTok. Twitter, Scott Malone 265. Just like to give a big shout out to obviously Omega Gym, all the guys fighting there tomorrow, and all my sponsors that have been helping it out recently. It's been much appreciated. Thank you.
And please follow Scott on social media, because you'll see him climbing all sorts of mountains and doing all sorts of mental things and using his new camera on his phone. But thanks very much for listening, guys.